Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure it is.
So anyway.
I would say they would have all three. Yeah, 'cause they're.
Listen, boys. I used to drink like 7 or 8 of those until my day. Maybe in the can, but,
Yeah.
and I was past 50 right? And I haven't drank, I don't drink pop. We've been having it for like years. But I heard it's like I don't know if you're gonna have those or not.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order and we'll start with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Josh, for setting that up. I appreciate that.
Yes, it's right.
Okay. Just remember, you have to say it. Okay, tonight is going to be kind of informal again. I thought we'd just kind of sit around and talk. One thing that's coming up on the town board's calendar is the budget for 2027, which takes effect in January. But it has to be, we have to have it taken care of pretty much by September. And I wanted to have a little bit of time to think through some stuff and get some ideas and be able to gather some quotes if we need quotes and all of that before we go at it. So I thought tonight, one of the things we need to do is to decide and discuss improvements that need to be made or we would like to have made because there will, there are budgetary constraints. You have to understand that. But I think we can certainly do some of it, yeah, for sure. And then another thing I did want to tell you is that I talked with Brian the other day about this, and I talked to Holly and Sarah both. I don't think I got it sent to you, did I? That the Rising Sun Foundation, we gave that money back because there was just no way we were going to find $250 more thousand. It just wouldn't happen. So we gave the money back to them, but we're going to go ahead and apply at the June 15th round. And I think the max they'll give now is $30,000. But that's a good chunk of change, and maybe we can get enough that we could do something out there. But we're gonna let you guys decide what you think is best. All of you that are involved, that includes you too. And then I don't know what else is on the agenda. Josh, do you have some things? I kind of made a list, but I'm sure it's not a complete list. So you just have to pop in and stuff.
I sent you a text message at the
Yeah.
What's that?
reminders of things that.
Oh, okay. Well, pull up your reminders and tell me, because
I was hoping you brought it up.
I did not
I
have
got
it.
it still.
Okay, I've got a few things on the list, so if anybody else has anything that you want me to start my list and then you throw in everything else that I don't have on my list. Does that sound like a plan? So at the top of my list, it's batting cages. And let's just talk about that for a minute. I mean, is that something that makes good sense for next year for sure?
I think so. I mean, like you said in the past, it's just gonna help with practice time as well.
Okay, and I think that's important. That's really important, not just for tournaments, but that's important for you guys to do. I thought that was interesting because Carson played a couple weeks ago with Robert Batesville. They just put in 2 batting cages there, and it was during the sectional, and so they gave, Lawrenceburg, you've got the field for 15 minutes, Batesville, you've got the batting cages for 15 minutes. That's all they got, and then they flip-flopped, and I thought, that makes such good sense. So hopefully. All right, now, do we have any kind of ideas on what, I do have down that the posts were gonna cost $82.95, $82.85. I know that could possibly change depending upon
I
market.
have all paperwork for every cost on the batting cage and everything. You want me to pass them around?
Yes,
So
I
the
do.
company that makes them is called Mastodon. Now that's their price for 4 cages. Ours is better.
Okay, good.
I just want to get a picture
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what
okay,
it
this is
looks
very much
like.
like what they've done. They've only done 2 over there.
And here is where we went out and did some measuring.
Is this just one cage?
No, that's 4 of them.
That's all 4,
That's
okay.
4 of them. That's poles, cables, nets.
It's
That's
everything.
not any,
No.
that's just total preparation.
No.
Or any
No. So
Okay.
these are the cages here, the sidewalk that would go around, just like how it shows in that picture there. So this is the asphalt millings here, this is the original parking lot.
Okay, so this would be opened up.
Yep, so this is the current open spot, so if you wanna carry this on over,
Yeah.
we got it measured out to where it would match up with those previous parking spots, where it looked like it would just flow.
Just continue
It
to
would
flow on out.
continue right on through.
You see what they wanna do there, Josh? Does that make sense to
Base
you?
off the way the ground.
Yeah, and I can go around here too, make it easier. And yeah, so that way it's not
This would
interfering.
be the, that's right here, the cage.
Yeah, that's his.
So this is the grass area,
Right.
here's the four
That's
lanes,
fine.
the sidewalk that goes around, and when we measured it out, so here's what's here now for the parking spots. When we extend this out, it would just extend, you know, so that way we've got double rows of parking, then once it opens up back here, it could be whatever.
And that would come out further than on the drawing, right, that parking lot? Because I think we had
Yeah.
about 30, we had about 15 on each side.
And that can go as far as what you guys want to.
Yeah, right, okay.
I tried to prep it to where if we put in these batting cages, it won't interfere with any future builds or possibilities
Okay.
of like what the barn did for, you
Yeah,
know, for, you
yeah.
know, for that hindered everything. So, and then same time, if ever needed, we would just add 2 more poles in if we ever want to add in cages.
And you would
that
go that
way it's,
direction.
we can keep going, and that way, since this setup would be going, it's just 2 more poles instead of 4 poles. And you just
Mhm.
keep
Yeah,
continuing
right.
on if you ever wanted to.
How much parking is that taking up, or we losing right there?
75, roughly 75, or between 63 and 75 feet with the sidewalk. So, but we measured it right off the edge of there, and so, I mean, but it looks like you can go on a long way.
That set of double parking
Well, that's-
inside that, where it's at now, the existing parking, that runs right off of that center line from that parking, will go straight on out, and it'll take out two rows, but then on the other side of it, you still just keep running all around.
Yeah.
We've still got more room.
Everything will be up to code, it just matches up, but yet,
It'll look like it'll flow once it all comes into place where it looks like it's looking apart.
So this little chunk here is just.
I just couldn't draw it out.
You couldn't draw it out, okay, all right, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
that's,
So-
definitely my stuff is, I was doing that at work the best I could,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, this was fine, yeah, it's
That's
not to
okay.
scale, that's for sure.
And this would be for,
Yeah, so like here's the other T-ball field.
right, this is one batting cage?
This is 4 lanes, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, wow.
And then the sidewalk goes on around it, cause I want the sidewalk to be curved up so people can't drive up on there.
Yeah,
Plus there'll be a little extra concrete on this side
okay,
because some
so
other.
this is for 4 cages then?
4 cages right there.
Okay, keep talking.
With Justin's pricing and stuff, I put on there that's poles and any of the other accessories that he'll need to design those poles,
Mhm.
as we call it, rip off in development, is what he says. But Madison, at their high school, they have the exact same ones, and so Justin was taking pictures of it and seeing what we gotta do, and I got his quote for all the actual stuff that he has on there. The other 8,000 here, that is through this company of ordering the exact nets. I actually
Okay.
called them up and said, hey, we already got some poles here, I'm kinda curious if this is one, so they sent me a quote for all the new cables, bolts, everything, the cages, and that's going through all of them. So basically, they wanted 30,400, and we got, for exactly what they have, we have a price for a little over 16,000.
Okay.
So that basically cut the cost in half right there. So the extra cost is gonna be concrete, I figured out footers, sidewalks. We can probably cut that cost down on concrete. Like I just figured if a 4-foot sidewalk around the whole thing, but if I cut it down to 2 feet on one side, 4 feet on the front side, we can probably,
No, for ADA, we'd have to have 4.
okay. And that's,
Yeah.
I did figure in 4 all the way.
Okay, good.
So in that way, that's cost right
Yeah.
there. Then the gravel, that's a rough estimate of how much backfill we'll need and stuff like that. And then the next one is I did find turf. I got the
Okay.
papers in here, for $1.39 a square foot. They come in,
Find out.
US Turf Supply.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the paper for that. So there's,
Athletic multi-purpose, all-star league,
Yeah.
Is that the one down in Texas you was telling me about?
no, this is a brand new turf right here. It's a very, it's a high drainage turf. So that way we don't have to worry about it. so you just kinda like blend it in, that's a weight.
Grills have up there,
Yeah.
grill batting cage.
And then the roll's coming 15 foot wide. So off of the blueprints, what the batting cage company sent me, they sent me all the blueprints of putting everything in. And the 75-foot run, 15 says 5 rolls. And so 5 rolls quoted at 63 feet to go for the full width. And then they do have like some fabric material tape that goes underneath and you glue it. So you glue the seams together
Yeah.
once it's in. But of course, there's no freight or taxes on that cost because I wasn't able to get the freight charge or the taxes.
Okay.
And these are just the quotes for like the gravel.
Okay, yeah, we.
And here's Justin's quote on top, and then there's also the batting cage for just the nets, the cables. And that's what's on that cover sheet I put where it has the 8,000.
This is Justin, I know that, look at that. And this was the 68 for the cables and the nets.
Yep.
Got that. And the concrete and the gravel. Concrete 4250, gravel 1600.
Yeah, the gravel's gonna be we don't really know for sure, and then also, we'll probably put
Well-
some drainage gravel underneath and a layer of lime to pack in.
Okay, so we're on the right road here,
So,
but,
yeah.
Can I see that rock down?
yeah.
It was like a total of 28,000, I think, will
Yeah.
be concrete all.
All of that. So basically, we can put it in for that. This would have cost us that just for the,
If we just get the
basic.
kit,
We wouldn't have any floor in it, we would
Nope.
have to do all the concrete work and all of that, setting poles and all that anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, I understand that. Okay, okay, well,
So with everything, like
we
28
would,
and change.
typically what we do with the grant is, you know, we would say, we would ask for the 30, for a $40,000 project. I have a feeling this would be 40 by the time it's all said and done, especially if we're gonna add the parking lot to it. So, I don't see any reason why we can't, but I wanna talk to you maybe about that. I would like a little bit more, I'd like you if you could get me a quote on that turf.
Absolutely.
Get a quote and with shipping charges, because we gotta look at that too, because
Yeah.
that's money out of our pocket. And sometimes those shipping charges, well, they add up in a really
Oh,
big
they
rate
do.
too,
Yeah.
so. Okay, all right, well, I think we are on a good pace to get, to start working on the grant. I will talk to Holly tomorrow and, tell her to get started, okay?
Yeah, I just know we had that deadline, I was like, of course, you're gonna be, I'm gonna jump on it, we're gonna find out.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah, I
go.
appreciate that. Well, you know, we hope, and here's the deal, you know, everybody's begging rising sun from heaven, not just us. And so we understand whenever we apply, we may not get it. We know that up front. But they also have another round in September, so, is that right? No, October, in October. So if we don't, we'll go ahead and get it, we'll try real hard in October to get it. With the goal being, you think we can get poles set if we get some money?
That's our
In-
number one, if we can at least get the poles going,
In the
because,
ground, yeah.
me and Justin, we're gonna go up, I think with your, on this Seymour, where we go.
So, yeah, we still have to fabricate, so that's just material only. So I'm donating all the labor to build the structure,
I need a quote from you for that donated labor.
like,
How many hours you think it's gonna take you, and how much money
So
would
the
you
typical-
charge the typical person? What are you gonna charge?
so that,
Because that goes into our cost.
so that
But
quote
we-
there is
we can
only
have
for
them
material
high.
only.
Okay, I need an
And
in-kind quote.
then I have a relative that's from RMC that's going to set the poles with their boom truck. So that's how we're gonna set the poles,
That's good, okay.
just to keep costs down.
Okay, that's great.
And so, yeah, next,
The-
it's gonna take us some time.
Yeah, sure.
And
And
it's
so
like,
the sooner
if we
the
get
better.
them in, it's like, then after that, it's like, we can do a slower process, like, all right, so after the poles are set, now we gotta, are the millings already coming in, you know, so do we gotta backfill, let's go ahead and get, I'm gonna plan on doing 3 sides of the sidewall, just 3 sides, that way we can still drive in there, dump some lime, dump some this, and the last thing said is that fourth,
Front.
the front part of the sidewalk, and then it's gonna be, then the turf, and then, once cables, nets get in, that's gonna be the last thing.
Okay,
So I don't want them in the way to do anything else, you know.
yeah, that's
in the
fine,
way.
that's But in-kind, donations are really important too. So we can give you a quote for what you would typically charge for that, and also talk to the RMC, your buddy, and find out, you know, if we can do an in-kind day or two. Cause that helps our application.
I can give you a crane quote too. For not RMC.
Oh, okay, a crane quote, is that what you just said? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, because I write cranes all the time, so
Okay.
I can put on my quote what a crane rental would cost.
Yeah, sure, okay, all right, yeah. So if you'll get that together, then that just helps our application,
Yeah.
so.
So I know that these batting cages, like, for, you know, and I'm not even talking about the canes here, I'm just talking about in general, just like, we're growing, I know that I'm seeing the rec, I've heard a lot of good things, rec league, they're gonna be growing.
They
And
are
it's like,
growing.
we're going around the room, and it's like, if we have this good momentum going with
Mhm.
everything, and then we're hindered between all these kids, it's like, then it's
Yeah,
like, I don't
right.
want that, you know, obviously, we all
Yeah.
want that, you know, we wanna keep seeing it growing, and
Okay.
people's like, oh man, you see this, you know, and
So,
helps practice a lot.
for some
big
reason,
time.
I was thinking we were only doing about 2 batting cages, I'm not opposed to 4, but, so the post that 82, that was for 4 to do,
That's for like, I can't remember the exact quantity, 11 or 12.
It's on that one.
It's on like-
what do you need with, I was gonna say, I'm trying to think.
We're building, what it's gonna look like, Roxanne, it will look,
You have 12
it
posts.
will look like an electric pole. It'll have a main pole, it'll have an arm set.
10.
So so the material quote that you had is for the post that goes up and the arms that go out and the brackets for the attach the cable to.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the reason why the 4 is because 4 ball fields.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I know as boys get older, like, I know, I'll speak for ours, for example. We have another, when we come into 13-year-olds, when we play on the bigger field.
Mhm.
Well, now it's gonna be, they take the cage for an hour, we take the field for an hour.
Mhm.
So you want a cage for each field,
Right.
so that way it's
Yeah,
an even,
that makes sense.
yeah.
That's great.
it's an even.
I'm happy. It's not like
While
you
we're
know,
talking about
I'm
these
not picking, I
poles,
just gotta understand what we're
Yeah.
doing, so Holly can put that all together.
while we're talking about the poles, can we add 2 more poles to, center field of field, 3 for the, playground? And put a netting out there?
If
Yeah,
there's gonna
safety
be,
netting.
something needs to happen out there with that field.
I did talk to Rollins, he don't want us to build the outfield tents up, he likes home runs to still
We
happen,
want
but
netting out there.
safety netting for that
Sure.
playground, yeah.
Those poles are 21 feet long, so you put 5 feet in the ground probably.
What
Or
is
you can
it?
get small, those are big poles, those are like this big
You don't
around.
need those.
You can go with the smallest pole, and it'd be cheaper.
But if you put it back by the playground, by the
Yes,
time it gets there.
on the
it'll be-
outside of the paper.
And then you can stretch a safety net like a golf course would have, or something
Yeah.
for roads or.
Cause how many was it out there during that tournament on that field?
On that one, I'm not for sure.
A lot of them.
I know that
5 or
backfield, I
6.
know we cranked, I think there were 6 home runs on that field too when we played.
But yeah, that was a concern of mine.
Was that a
just-
problem in rec league at all? No, not really,
No.
okay. Well, I mean, they're young.
We just have, I mean, it's girls softball on that field mostly, and then you got AU and 10U, so, I mean,
Mhm.
you know.
It's gonna happen, and it only take one
Okay,
time.
so that's something that
Balls
the
go
board
flying out
needs,
there for the kids.
we need to talk about. Okay. before that.
So, can are we,
Keep talk, everybody talks.
okay, so just so I understand, like, what's the approximate, like, needs that we're thinking, how many tournaments are we thinking we're gonna have next year? And then also, like, how much money from the town do we have allotted to do things? Cause you know what I mean, like, that's kind of a question I have, cause there's probably lots of needs that we could come up with, I didn't realize that we had a budgetary allowance, like, I wasn't understanding that, like, we could bring those things, I thought that was just things that we were paying for out of, like, most of the way out of the rec league fund, so, like, what are some things that, like, how much is allotted for the fields out there, so, like, the batting cages, if we use this for a grant, which I'm totally on board for and agree with, but, like, what are other needs that we're thinking that we have out there that, like, that the town has money allotted for, or will have allotted for?
Yeah, it's the will
Yeah.
kind of situation. The budget just kind of, it's just kind of, I don't know, it kind of floats. Like several years ago, when I first came on the board, back in 16, been 10 years ago now, there was, I don't remember what the number was, maybe $5,000 a lot. And then things kind of picked up with soccer, and things picked up a little bit with baseball, and things had kind of, I won't say they were neglected, but they weren't done. It was like not progress being made. So the clerk treasurer at the time increased that budget significantly. And then the money, we spent it, like the first year or two, we spent a lot of that budget, but then it was like you weren't spending it, and the state doesn't like that if you budget it and you're not spending it. So we have to find that fine line. It doesn't have to be real precise, but we've got to find a fine line where I think tonight, I thought the goal was, or my goal was, get it all out on the table and decide, let's get it in priority order, and some of this could wait till next year, and those things that could wait till next year will wait for next year. But I mean, we've got to budget in things like, there was no conditioner put on the fields. I think since Randall came on board, and that's been 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And so, you know, we wiped out all that dirt dry immediately and all that, and that's not cheap. And so we've had to go out and buy more for it. And, you know, that costs money. And it's the way the state works, let's say we budgeted $25,000 this year for the parks. And we've already spent that 25, and now we're having to spend more and more, just to keep things up. You know, we've got, I don't know, whatever. You know, so let's say there's $5,000 or $6,000 more. We'll get dinged on that big time because we didn't budget enough. And they'll let us go 1 year, but then we have to be able to go back and budget that money back in. Also gets a little confusing. I think I've told a couple of you about the deal with the soccer uniforms that year, you know. And so you gotta be careful that town's not taking money into the account and then spending it out, because they don't recognize the money coming in, they only recognize how much you took out of it. So that we get into problems with the auditors on that kind of stuff. So we want to be really careful with that. But I mean, we've got to budget money, and I don't know what the costs are. We got to figure out how much dirt dry, how much field conditioner. Since it hadn't been conditioned for 6 years, no wonder it was a soppy, muddy mess. And so, you know, we need to figure out that stuff, and that has to be at the top of the priority list too. Because if you can't get your fields ready, it's not going to do you any good to have all the other stuff, you know, ready to roll. So I'm sure there are other things that, you know, you guys all have in mind, and do we get something from soccer? We didn't get it right yet, but we want to talk about that too. But yeah, we need to, you know, kind of figure that. So if you've got things,
I think equipment's a big thing that we need. It's like a safety thing, I feel like, catcher's gear for sure.
okay,
Yeah.
hasn't been purchased for quite a while, I don't
Yeah,
think.
no, we had to throw away a lot because it was just, the straps don't work and the rusted.
Okay. So I have equipment here on my list, and it just has a $ sign and a blank line. So tell me what kind of equipment, you said catcher's gear?
Yeah,
For
for
how many
all ages.
sets of catcher's gear? I mean, how many ages would it
So
be?
for the 8U, we just did a chest protector and a helmet, which could be like a batting helmet too, because it's just coach pitch for 8U baseball and softball. And then from 10U up, we had full catcher gear. I know for
Mask?
like my 8U team, the girls were fine. Like we had a catcher, like we had a mask and everything, so we were good on that. But my boys team, my 12U boys, like we struggled with the huge, you know,
Okay.
and the helmet was really big.
So I guess that's something that we need you guys to tell us. You know, what sizes of equipment do you need? I mean, they come in sizes, I know, so you need small, medium, large, extra large, what do you need?
They go by age group. I was
Do they?
some of that stuff up this year. They go by
Okay.
age group, so that is helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
so give us an idea of how many sets that you need to make that correctly go. Okay?
And how about the shin guards for you though? If you go to a tournament or something like that, are you supposed to wear shin guards?
Like if they do an all-star.
Yeah.
Oh, I would imagine.
It would be cool if we
I would
could get
just-
full sets.
Yeah, I think just give us that.
Yeah.
Well, even if it's not a safety thing, it's still helping teach the 8-year-old the proper.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Right.
that's what I was going through my mind. I'm thinking they're not too young to learn, you know.
Yeah,
I see by whole sets of
Yeah.
everything.
I think that would be
I think it's
nice.
easier to
Okay,
buy it now as
so-
kids anyways.
I think your lowest cost sets are gonna be from 300 to 350 too.
Crazy
You're
expensive.
probably going to
Couldn't believe
catcher's equipment, and that's something that the town, I think, is always taking care of, some of the basic, that kind of equipment.
18 cents. Probably 15 to 20 cents. Yeah.
Well, how often are you wanting the sets to travel with the team, no matter where you go? Because you got 4 games at max you can have. So you take them off of the team when they're done playing, because if they're the towns, swap it
Well,
out
if
with
they
it.
play
can't do that.
But except for if they go to Milan or something
Right.
like that. So I mean, what I'm saying is you need sets.
Where do you get the replacement?
I think they need to be able to practice with it too, that's the thing, like
Yeah.
because you have to have a board member there to unlock it, then to get to
Yeah.
them for
You'll
practice.
do 3 sets at least for each age group,
Yeah.
in my
And
opinion.
we did do a good job at Josh did a good job, they did too, of people signing off and taking stuff, when they
Good.
got their equipment. But yeah, I mean, I think that if we wanted to be able to practice what they're gonna do in the game, they're gonna be, each team has to be able to take it.
Yeah.
So how many sets are we talking?
I'd say 20 sets,
Wow,
yeah,
at $300 a pop?
I haven't.
I don't think we need like the top of the line,
you don't
but
want-
And
honestly, we were at
you
that
might be able to
point.
find a deal if you buy it, and they do.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I've seen from like $170 to like $700.
Right.
They're crazy money in catcher's gear, I couldn't believe it. But
Okay.
We can be some.
Yeah, do some figuring on that and think about how many sets are actually gonna be used at the same time too. Now, I realize if you send 3 teams off to a weekend tournament, those are gonna be used, but like on a typical practice night, are all of the
Yeah, but that means
eight U's
the
all playing, all the teams practicing at the same
Well,
time?
that means we have, a board member has to be there every single night of the week, there's practice to unlock the thing, to get it in.
Each
And
team-
then one team goes to Rice Sun on a Thursday, another team's here, you know what I mean, it's not just.
So you're
practice.
thinking you would check them out, that's what you're
Yeah.
telling me? Okay.
Yeah, at the
Like,
beginning of the
per
season.
team.
Yeah,
Per team.
each team has a set.
Each
Yeah.
team gets a set.
Each team does an equipment bag and we sign it all out.
Okay. Is that the way, I bet that's the way they did it years ago.
And that's how
I
they
bet
do it.
that it's
And
just
it's
dwindled.
dwindled.
How badly has it dwindled? How many sets did you really work with this year?
We had enough to cover everyone, but like Josh said, you didn't have the shin connectors. I know there were some
Shin
that.
guards.
They were the helmets were huge. when they
Yeah.
were
Shin
in, the chest
guards that they
protectors.
did have, they was always having to restrap them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was like that year.
Well, the
Yeah.
elastics
Been
probably
that way
done
for a
more
while.
on them.
They're pretty
Yeah.
big.
Okay.
Even if we can say we can purchase 10 and then 10,
All right.
10 and
I
10
put
and 10.
20
Yeah,
on
I
here.
mean, you don't have to have 20
Yeah,
next
because you have
year,
enough to,
but
yeah.
we could have 10 and then get 10 the following year or something.
I wonder if there's another shed we could put them in that everybody have access, I would say, or at least coaches, instead of the main building, but have a shed where equipment bags would go into without opening up.
I would have a sign out.
Yeah, I'd rather have a
Beginning
sign out
season,
too, I
sign
think.
out for it.
That's a key piece, and we have found that out, haven't we, Josh? Because a couple of years ago, when Josh kind of came on the board, and I convinced him he was gonna, I don't know that I convinced you, I think I just told you you were gonna do the sports complex. But he went out and couldn't, yeah, it was hard, and that's because the equipment had not been signed in and out the way it should have been done, so, okay, we're good on that. I had that on, what other equipment, anything besides, is that the top thing?
That's-
I
Catcher's
was gonna
gear?
say, we purchased the concessions equipment this year. So
Okay.
we're good.
Are you good
Purchase
on
all
that?
balls,
Yeah.
which one need to buy
Yeah,
next year again.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's soft cost, you have to buy those.
Yeah.
They're not-
Batting helmets, how that works.
I think we're good on batting helmets, yeah.
Do a lot of kids bring their own
Oh,
batting
Yeah.
helmets? Yeah, I thought so.
they don't
You
want
still have
to-
some, yeah, but you probably need a variety of sizes there too, and you don't, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of just, they get what they get.
We had a good donation of equipment this year too.
Did you?
The,
Yeah, good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that group?
So they reached out to Caleb Bowling from Jacksonville and said, hey, we got all this gear because they had a memorial gear drive for their son. He loved baseball.
Yeah, right, I remember.
So anyway, him and his wife reached out to me and said, hey, we have some gear we want to donate. And it was bats, it was gloves, it was cleats, it was pants, so
Awesome.
things like that,
coaches'
We
bags?
were using like kid-size bags to come out to coaches this year.
All right, somebody give me a price on them, okay?
Okay.
And then how many would we need?
Matching of this.
How many teams did you have?
Matching,
25,
yeah.
25.
You had 20,
That'd be a safe number.
25 saved, okay?
Okay, we had some bigger ones, so we can go through it.
Yeah, we had some that were,
Some were, okay.
How about tees or anything like that?
A guy donated, yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
were
saw
like
that.
trying to use everything we could to be like smart this year. A guy was like, hey, these teas are terrible. We're like, we know, but we like are, you know. So a guy donated 4
Oh, really?
teas,
How
yeah,
cool.
a coach, cause he was like, these are terrible. We're like, we know.
felt bad.
But, so he donated 4, so,
Good,
yeah.
okay, okay.
So I think we're okay on that.
All right, what other equipment do you have?
Do we need any more ground equipment for this drag and bake?
I don't know what we even have and.
I know Nate Sells bringing his own drag up there, I think he's
Yeah,
got some.
that was my next thing. I know
Do
the
we
town's
need-
tractor and stuff, and it's Danny's tractor,
Yeah.
everything's Danny's tractor, but either way, if we can find a cheap little lawnmower then, because that way we're not taking our own equipment, our own four-wheelers, our own stuff to go and drag and take care of stuff, to do it. I mean, it's just a little lawn tractor,
Right,
that's what doesn't even need a mower deck on it, we're not looking to mow, we're just looking to put a nail drag on there and roll or whatever else, or the screens that, you know, Nate put together and fixed and took care of and got that taken, you know.
I think that's the kind of where we kind of have to, well, it's maybe we'll get there, is like figure out, because it is difficult to have, to be Danny's, the town, you know, and you can't touch it, but so everyone's supposed to bring their personal stuff out there and take care of it, and then you're supposed to be, and then you're like renting the fields so that somebody can take care of it, they're not getting taken care of, so then we're having to bring our own four-wheelers and
Okay.
trailers, I think that's kind
One
of a
thing-
weird line.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that's on my list for our budget next year is a part-time, a seasonal Parks and Rec person. Huh? No, not yet. Not yet. It's not the budget, we can't hire
I thought
somebody.
I saw him on there.
Well, you might have seen somebody, and he is working part-time for us,
Okay,
and he is interested,
okay.
okay? That's who you're talking about. Well, he was a few months ago, and I hope he still will be, but we are looking at that, but I guess I need to, okay, and you guys have to understand that equipment that belongs to the town, it's a liability issue, we have people using that are not town employees, okay? And you understand that, I know you do, you probably all understand that, so that becomes a bit of a problem. However, if there is, a piece of equipment that we could buy, like you said, just a lawnmower.
So what if I brought a lawnmower up there with no deck on it, can it just live there? It's not the town.
It just,
It's-
yes, it could live there, I think.
Because I mean, literally, like in the fall, I'm hooking up my trailer, putting my tractor on there, driving over there, dragging on the fields.
Yeah.
You know, we've done so much field maintenance to that place.
I know you have.
Yeah.
I know.
And I get there's liability, I get you don't want Joe Schmo ruining your
Right.
tractor, I get that.
And I did hear, around there, our employees, and I kind of caught some of that kind of wind. But you're telling me that the tractor he's got's really too big, or
Yeah.
or
We
is
just
the
need
problem mostly that you can't use it? That's what I'm
I don't
asking.
even really care to use it, it's, for one, like right now, he just goes out there and bulldozes everything. Hit the new pitcher's mounds with the equipment, not take care of it, we're putting all the time and effort, so we wanna see if at the same time, I know the town's about to do brand new mounds. Ka-kink, hitting it,
Okay.
just bulldozing all the base plugs and,
Base not cut.
none against him, it's just,
But
I
we
wanna
need-
take care of
If
the
you go
equipment.
to Ohio Rod, they have a lawnmower in the little shed there,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And then you use the field to take care of it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, a little four, a little.
Yes.
That was gonna be my next question.
Lawnmowers and stuff.
Yeah.
Are the four-wheelers account, or a four-wheeler, I'm thinking UTV, but you're saying a four-wheeler.
I'm saying a 32-inch cup cadet with a mower taken off of it,
Yeah.
the biggest piece of the
Yeah.
you can find.
What did you just say?
But just
Yeah.
like a lawn track, you take the deck off, and all you gotta do is drive around, because you don't wanna go fast anyways.
No.
There's no advantage of going fast, and it slings their stuff
So
everywhere.
maybe we could even actually look for a piece of equipment, like all of us keep looking.
Yeah, and it's like a,
And then when you find it, you let me know, but,
it's something simple where we can just go around and just, cause we're already, you know, put
I wonder
time and effort,
if
we'll
we
make
could
sure
do
it's done right.
if we would.
I don't know, I'm trying to think how you could say like, oh, this is owned by X and it's covered under.
Well, if it's
Like, if it's
directly,
Right.
you have the liability.
Right, we could
Right.
just like figure out a way to.
Well, should your insurance, record insurance cover you guys on a piece of equipment? Kane's should cover you guys on a piece of equipment out there, right? So if you guys go in half and buy a little tractor or
Or we
lawnmower,
find one and donate it to directly or to the, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know,
'cause
we'll
I
have to
think
figure out how we
I
can
think all
do
of us
that.
are working, like, I mean, whoever comes
Right.
up, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
We've all
and
been, like,
how,
pitching
here's,
together
here's
and
the
doing
deal
what we
on,
gotta
here's kind of where I think Josh and I, and Josh will help me figure this out, but, you know, we've kind of talked about, we would still need somebody that did some mowing out there. There's a lot to mow out there at the
Absolutely.
complex, but if we had, you know, our regular guy that's out there do all the mowing or most of the mowing, and then if we can hire we can hire somebody as a seasonal employee. The problem I think that we're gonna probably run into is I don't know that anybody's gonna wanna be out there every other weekend for tournaments. Well, that's what we need. We need somebody that's gonna be
you
there.
guys don't have a problem with the mowing, it's just the infields.
yeah,
It's the infields?
infield.
Okay.
It's the infield, that's it.
Okay.
The mowing's great.
So if we hire somebody, Josh, then we would want that person doing the stuff.
I think everyone here is willing to work too.
Yeah.
Sure, I know you are. And I've seen a lot
We
of
just
that.
wanna
and
have
we
access.
appreciate that.
Cause like, the way Dave designed and fixed it, is, I mean, you got that 7-foot drag, you start pulling that around by yourself a little bit, and it's like, oh man, it starts to get to you. So if I just had a simple little Cub Cadet, little lawnmower, I can hook that
You're
up
talking
to.
physically roll.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
hand drag, and it has been.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
we just want something.
That's
we can
old
just-
school, let me tell you, I remember that from when I was a kid.
We just want a little
Okay.
riding lawnmower, just to, hey, it's sitting over there.
Hook it up and go.
Cause we,
Okay. Okay,
we're not trying to make it, you know, just be pretty, but we try to create a safety, to keep it safer for the kids that take bad hops, take a baseball
Sure,
right to the face.
sure,
And we
yeah.
wanna be able to make sure, we don't
Okay.
mind doing the work after we're done,
Okay.
and take care of.
so it's
those
not really with the
grass-
grass part, it's with the infield part.
Yes, yeah.
We can work on that, because I think whomever we find, that's gonna be that person's job to get those fields ready for the nights that you're playing rec league and ready for the weekends that we're having tournaments.
Yeah.
And that might be more than one person actually, before it's all said and done, we may have to hire we can hire.
Definitely have
Kids, I
people
think,
here
too.
that love
Okay.
what they have.
Is
no
there
problem with their work.
anything, do we have enough drags, or do we?
We got one,
You know,
we need a nail drag, I don't see when I see the rake, basically, the
finished drag.
finished drag.
We
a
have
nail
a finished
drag.
drag?
A legit nail drag would be something that, cause that brick dust starts turning to concrete, starts packing, so we need to get some air underneath of it, and we need to start kinda
Okay,
sifting it around a little bit to soften things up.
okay.
Well, even if it
I
rains.
got that on the
you
thing,
can
how much
drag
do
it
nail drags?
with an
cost?
air dry,
Around
I
that?
agree.
label with it.
$1,000?
No, you get it cheaper than that.
Oh,
We can actually probably make a decent one for probably less than $100, it'd be pretty good. Like an X drag, I've seen them make about 2 by 4
Well, I know
X drag,
when,
and it hooks up, looks good. But it's just the nail drag is
Yeah.
definitely needed, to help soften it
I was
out.
gonna say soften it up and work the conditioner into it, cause all the parents will do that.
And then a couple things that what Rob was telling us about U-Trip, the backstop padding.
Yes,
The backstop padding, you could probably go that first row, it looks like they're each dug out or backstop 20 foot wide and 3 foot tall pads for all 4 of those.
I think another big thing too is like, we need to hang some signs up that say, do not get into the fence.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes,
And I think the batting cages will help with that, because we can go up and do soft toss into the batting
Yeah.
cages, right? You can get kids all around the outside, you can get in the inside, like it's
yeah.
very universal for that, but we need to have, because that fence.
Fence is
like,
really
you can see
getting
the
above
fence
it,
is
and I
getting
saw a
above it.
couple of them,
Yeah, and that's gonna be expensive.
They don't need to get to the fence period, and it might be something we might buy some hitting nets. If it,
Yeah, maybe
We
but like
got-
I say, the cages, you got the cages.
yeah, they've got some out
With the
there.
canes, just, of course, it's for the community, so we already bought 3 L screens and 2 hitting nets. I mean, the professional ones,
They're not.
and we're hoping to get a softball L screen purchased with the next little bit of money we'll be pulling in. And like I said, those are community stuff, but we do have 2 nice ones. They won't fit in the shed, we'll have to put them out in the big barn for winter time, but
So,
they're big.
so they're hitting into the backstop, is that what you're telling me? Okay, then we want some signage for that. The other thing we want signs for, I think, is directing people to the complex. Because there really isn't anything but a little sign this big that says, turn this way to the sports complex. So that's on our list too. We thought we could, try to come up with a couple from that direction. Okay, let's see. Did we get the dirt situation, figured out there around field 1?
Well, yes and no.
Okay,
So, I think all the fields, and Joey brought this up, about putting like a warning track out there.
oh, yeah.
That would help out a lot.
It fixes our problem too with
Mhm.
the concrete getting exposed. We even have to have a huge warning track, because it's like, all right, we coming things.
So what's that gonna, that would just be grading that, the
Trimming
grass off there?
Trimming the grass off.
How
put
big of
some
a track are
lime
you
or-
talking, 2.5, 3 feet?
I'd say.
Well, whatever.
You don't even have to do it, you don't have to do it.
A skid steer bucket, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
This is
It'll
like
be your
30
way to
inches,
do
I
it.
think.
I can go right that side cutter again and just go a couple.
Or, yeah.
That works slick, other than.
And then what do you put on that warning track? Is that chip?
Yep.
brick dust.
I do
lime.
brick dust
Brick
or
dust?
lime, whatever's, that way it stays packed, it shouldn't wash away. I mean,
Okay,
now we
so,
have to, you don't have to worry about weed killer then, and it looking like all brown, and then of course it's washing everything out, and
It makes the fields look better too.
it makes them look a lot
okay.
better.
Warning tracks for fields. Any idea what that's gonna cost us?
Would be super expensive, and we just did that sock cut and.
I think they gave us a deal on that, and Dylan got that.
So what are you thinking, 5 foot, 6
We
foot?
would have to, we could go a couple feet and just roll with that, and then our main thing is covering up the concrete, the exposed concrete from those poles.
I would say at
We
least
got
4
dirt
feet.
on that, right?
We go for
I
it.
mean, I wanna look kinda nice.
Warning track?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not much of a warning track, it's 2 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, realistically, you should have,
Well, I'm saying,
So,
So, oh, I meant,
But the value you're looking for is no erosion at the,
No
the fence.
yeah, right.
we could put down layers of fresh stone first before the lime or brick dust we would put on top, that way we can stop the
That's
erosion
what-
mainly.
Yeah, that's enough, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, if you're running full bore, it's not gonna be enough to stop you, it's just basically, it
No.
looks nice and it
Yeah.
takes care of the erosion problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless the kids float back
So
there,
I guess
then-
the biggest expense on that's gonna be the brick dust and stuff, right?
Brick dust and lime, I'd say whatever's the cheapest to roll with it, and,
Okay, so I gotta
And
know,
then you
somebody's
spray
gotta get me a price and estimate on that, and add 20% to whatever you're saying, okay?
yeah.
Because that's the way that stuff works. By the time you go to buy it, you know.
Depends on how 4 feet, how many you
Okay.
get done, 2 inches deep, and.
But we are working on they did take some dirt, or they're going to take some dirt out to that field from the parking lot.
I told Randall, you guys are done, Josh, right? One more game, so they're not supposed to do nothing to that field until we're done.
Okay.
Temporary fence for softball on the big
Yeah,
field.
you did say
That's
that.
gonna have to be put in storage too.
Jason Cleaver, the softball director, I got the official date is July 28th. It's gonna be at 11 a.m.
Wait a minute, tell me again?
Sorry, July 28th is the U-Trip softball director, I'm meeting here at 11 a.m. I don't know, that's the earliest he can get here because of the
July
tournaments.
28th,
Yeah,
and at what time?
Tuesday.
At
11
9,
a.m.
11 a.m.
I could probably get pushed back a little bit further because obviously I'm working third shifts and doing work, but
Yeah, let's
deal with it.
If you can come later today, I can be.
yeah.
And what's that guy's name again?
Cleaver, Jason Cleaver, K-L-I-V-E-R.
Jeez.
Okay. Because that way, it sounds like he's gonna be able to get quite a few tournaments in and out of here. I wanted to
Yeah.
get confirmation
And
from
does-
him if he sees that this is something we get rolling and how quick before.
If I know what those temp
We-
fences, what's Southwick give for that? When they, do we have any idea? Can somebody find out?
I can probably get hold of Derek.
Yeah, find out what
A few
they
hundred,
paid
I
for
think,
that.
you can go, you
Well,
know, like
did
anything.
you get one price?
Yeah.
That, like I said, the key is we gotta get the numbers down,
Mhm.
so that when we
Yeah.
go put it all together, we can
But
account for things, because there are gonna be things that'll come up that we
I
can
didn't
account
want
for.
to order anything
It
at
doesn't
once.
mess with that right there.
Yeah, that's fine. And then the turf guy, I guess, had told Randall that we need to put 2 skids of conditioner on the fields early next spring. Does that sound right? Skids of conditioner? Maybe, I don't know. Would that make sense?
Sounds like a lot of work. Been there, done that.
Okay, well, I will check on that. I think Randall said that, but I don't know if that, I will ask per field.
When do they get more brick dust? Who?
When,
Yeah.
I think he just ordered one.
I told Randall to order some, but he got brick dust. We haven't,
The clay sand mix would have been, we got plenty of brick dust. We need better drainage, basically, and that clay sand mix would have got that and softened it up.
but that help on the warning track though.
Yeah, we can use it on morning tracks. We can use
Okay,
whatever
so you
want,
need the,
know.
what'd you say, the clay sand mix?
Yeah, send.
But that would be more next, we'll have to do that next year.
Yeah, that's fine, but I
That's where you
wonder how much that
eventually-
costs, so we can have that in the budget.
Did you send that to me?
I did send it to you.
Okay,
I got it here in text.
They're out of Hope, Indiana, that they deal with ball field mix, and you
Yeah.
can, it's a clay sand mixture,
mhm,
one that allows, you know, better
Yeah.
drainage.
Yeah.
Softens things up,
okay, okay, that's good, that's good.
keeps it from packing in as heavy,
Okay.
brick dust does.
The other thing I have, which, we gotta do something with picnic tables. They're a mess, somebody's gonna get hurt on them. And, I've been talking with Chuck Everidge with the Lions Club, because they bought tables originally, many years ago now. And it looks like there's at least 12 that need to be replaced, and he put me on to, of all places, the Indiana Department of Corrections. At Pendleton, they build picnic tables, wooden ones. And they have a 5-foot or an 8-foot, well, an 8's too big for what we're doing out there. It's just, that's the length of these tables, that's too big. But, I'm thinking we could do some 5-foots from them. I tried to call them today. You can only get so much information online. I know they're $160, but sales tax is built in. Well, we don't pay sales tax because we're a municipality. So I'm trying to get a fun quote on that. And I'm kind of leaning that way now. Originally, I was thinking, okay, we'll get the folding picnic tables, like what's out there, we'll get the folding kind. And the more I think about that, then I think, well, then Randall, those guys have to go out there and pick them up every fall and take them to storage and then get them back out and take them back. And so I thought, well, maybe we just do wood ones and leave them out there then. One of the problems is that they come unfinished completely, so they need to be stained and sealed, at least all the top boards and the side boards. We would want to, maybe not under the top, but we would like to do that, I think. I'm not sure if I could find a group somehow that would, help do that or something. I'm gonna ask them if they'll do it.
Joe probation?
Yeah, that'd be a group that maybe could do that, sure. So, what are your thoughts on that? Wooden picnic tables? I mean, they'd be hard to move, I know, I like
Just
the.
keeping them clean and, I don't know, I like the ones, like
After
my
they get-
style that are out there, cause.
If you don't keep up with them, they'll start getting splinters,
Yeah.
kids,
Like
barefoot.
you're going to have to
crawling
redo
around.
them like kind of often for how much they're probably used, and then stuff gets spilt on them, even though they're, I don't know.
Sealed.
These
no,
are just,
sealed.
yeah, even though they're sealed, I don't know, just, we
Yeah.
did that at the shop and literally they're already needing to be redone, and we seal them and everything, so
Really?
they look like crap, so my dad's gotta do that. He's gonna do it first.
Okay.
But I don't know, these kind of nice, like what's out there, cause they just feel like you can wipe down and.
Yeah, okay. Well, and I think one reason they've taken such a beating is because they stood all winter,
Yeah.
all these years. And if
So
we
they
get
stood
the kind that and I don't think those kind fold out there. I think I've looked at them before, but, okay, all right. That's a good point, and I agree, so, okay, well, we'll see about that. We'll see what we can do on those. I think Lions, I'm hoping they're gonna help us out some on that.
be nice too if we can, there's blank signs like on those shelter houses. Cause I think Lions Club had a sign out there, maybe when they did originally donate those tables, and now it's just, there's like a white sign over it, they're blank on both the shelter houses, it kinda looks crappy.
Like they've washed, the paint's washed off.
Yeah, so I don't know if we could just, if they would donate
Okay.
something like that, or whoever, maybe if we could find other people that would donate, that we could put a nice logoed sign on those shelter houses, like,
Yeah,
as a thanks to
another,
them, we'd
yeah,
have to,
group.
yeah,
Yeah.
cause they just, right now, they're just,
See, the Kiwanis did that, and they put up a nice plaque, I mean, that's like, it cost $200, I know.
yeah, it's
They
like,
put a plaque on the soccer building, you know, that they had donated the tables, but
Yeah.
then Kiwanis, of course, is not active anymore. And so,
yeah, it's a big sign.
but we'll talk to,
Yeah.
okay, all right, well, I'll talk to, I will, get back with Jack on that and tell him that, you know, I think we're not gonna do that. Any other equipment needs I need to know sometime in the next week or two, couple weeks? And then you said you found a freezer, somebody donated a
Oh,
freezer
yeah.
for you? Okay.
Well, someone was giving it away on Facebook, so we got a freezer to put in there. They weren't really giving it
They
to
weren't
us,
necessarily-
but it just so happened.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
good shoppers,
So-
okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to be looking for a refrigerator too, or is the refrigeration you've got out there enough?
I feel like that's
The
enough.
coolers
Those
are
two
okay?
that we have in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay,
I
that's
just need
good.
to scrap that freezer.
The old-
that freezer.
You know where that came from?
They've already taken it out.
Did they?
Yeah.
Bob and I bought that 52 years ago when we got married. That
That
thing's run for 52 years, can you believe that? That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal.
I know. Yeah, we could find something else to store.
Okay, so that's all I had on my list, so what else?
What exactly, the guy that you're hiring part-time, what exactly does his job entail? Just
We don't
taking-
even have that down yet, Josh. I need to call, I'm gonna call out to Carl Knight out at North Vernon and chat with him. They had a parks director, it was a full-time guy, a friend of Doug's actually. And I don't know what they're doing now, because he's not working in that capacity. But I know Carl's pretty actively involved, because he does all the concessions out there. So I'm gonna try to have a conversation with him, and then I'm looking online and trying to put a job description together. But we're thinking, the things that we've kind of hashed around or thrown around and trying to decide, and of course that's gonna be working with whomever we hire too. But a seasonal position that would probably start maybe mid-March at the earliest, maybe April 1, I don't know. This year it should have been March 1st probably, because the weather was really nice there, you know. But, and a 40-hour-a-week position, but it would be like, let's say March 15th to October 15th. And then you'd have the winter off. And then, sounds like you're going to job. And then the other thing we're thinking is that, you know, we need somebody that is gonna be around on those weekends when we have tournaments. So, I'm not sure, you know, if we get into a situation where we're having a lot of tournaments, I'm not sure that one person's gonna wanna do that. But we can talk about that, because I think we can find, young guys that would.
She can give them 2 days off in a week too.
Yeah, right, and that's what, that was the thought, if Danny continues to mow it all, might be able to get away with, you know, you work 3 weekdays or 2 weekdays or whatever, if you're gonna be out there at the ballpark 12 hours a day, 24 hours, and that's 3 days right there, you know. We do not like to get into the paying overtime thing, and we've already done away with our comp time, so we don't do that anymore. So it's gonna be a position where I kind of think we might have to have somebody else waiting in the wings to help out on weekends. And of course, we would pay those people, that person. But I think mostly their job, that person's job would be the fields, get the fields ready, line the fields, drive the fields, and then be there, not necessarily for rec league, because there's enough of you people that are there at rec league, there's enough people at soccer that they are playing to kind of run their own thing. But there might be some other duties that you think we need to include, and we're open to that.
Can
So-
we? You're gonna be mad
No,
at me
go
when I
ahead.
say this. Like, what about that person running the rec league mean, we're all doing that in our spare time, you know what I mean? So I'm like, they should be able to get the fields ready and then like, can they run directly? Like, and then that's, like, we have a group, we still have a board of people that are there to help, but not there, you know. I just feel like personally, I feel like if we want our rec league to continue to try to like grow and not have turnover, I mean, I know how a board should work, people come off and people come on, but I think we're gonna have a hard time continuing that, and I feel like somebody that's hired in that position, if it's seasonally, you know, alongside parents that are willing to help, I just feel like, was that a responsibility that they could take on, and then have volunteers basically assist in that manner, but like, they're organizing it, they're getting the sign-up forms out, they're, you know, I don't know, I just think.
Okay. I'm not gonna say no to that, I'm not gonna say yes to that either. But put it, kinda lay it out in writing for me. Let me see what you're thinking. I'm starting to think we might be talking two positions here, because the town needs to have somebody on the weekends available at the ball, and we know that. I'm not sure we can hire one person that's gonna do all of that, plus do regular. And soccer, you know, I don't know that we can do that. I'm not saying we can't, I'm just saying,
Well, I know that
I think
person
we don't
doesn't have
have
to
more
be
than
there,
one.
like, we're only playing 3 days a week out there,
Okay,
and that person doesn't have to be there 3 nights too, it's like, we still have a board of people like we did this year, hey, 2 board members are there every night.
but
That
you're
still
looking
could
for
be-
somebody who would, like, do the registration, right?
Well, I'm just saying, someone that's like, I'm heading this, and I've got 10 people around me that are willing to help me in any capacity, like, we could still all do our same things we did this year, it's just, if they're there 3 days, and then they're there Saturday and Sunday, or whatever, they don't have to be there 3 days from 8 AM till 8 PM, and we could
Yeah.
have, but somebody say, hey, I have concessions, can you know, like, they're just, hey, you 2 board members work the concessions, you 2 board members be there for,
He's more direct, like a big
yeah,
director.
yeah, kinda like a director,
Okay.
just basically helping facilitate it versus having, you know, I don't know,
Mhm.
that's just,
Somebody that has ideas on deadlines, like, hey, we're gonna get a deadline for this, like, hey, we need volunteers for this, like, just someone that's herding the cats.
right, and like, oh, we wanna have an all-star tournament out here, okay, well, I'm gonna be able to manage that, and, okay, board, we're gonna help, you know, whatever, I mean,
Okay,
I just feel like that over, like, year over year, I think that might be more beneficial versus having to have, 'cause I
Yeah.
don't,
I agree. In that position, maybe, I don't know, we may need an assistant for that position. I mean, I'm already thinking that, maybe
how many tournaments are we thinking next
See,
year?
I got some ideas, but like I said, this is my ignorance as well for budgeting and stuff
Mhm.
and what takes place. So like, if everything runs through a parks department, whether you have 1 employee or 10 employees, that doesn't, you know, that's above my head pay grade right there.
Mhm.
But like right now, if we host tournaments, right now it's like, okay, well, Rec League, they do the concessions, they gotta buy their own food, but then if they want to use somebody else, they can bring their own food. But if everything went through the parks department, they brought the money in, they take the money in for concessions, but if they wanna hire the girls volleyball team to come in and earn some money to help raise, you know, it's still their food, they budget for their own food, everything goes through the food. The sponsorships all pay or give money to the parks department to buy the kids' uniforms and all that stuff as well. Everything comes out of one pot, it's not kinda shifted through, that takes care of your, management right there in the sense of maintaining everything. So all the funds go in and out of that department, no matter what, tournaments and all go through that department, concessions, everything's in one place.
Yeah.
So then the rec league comes in, you know, it's like, whoever the person's hired or the few, whatever, works with them, find the sponsorships, get the teams together, and go on from there, and then uniforms. Of course, that's just me speaking out, I don't know.
I just think it's hard to do a nonprofit every time 501(c)(2). Now you
Yeah.
can't use for sales
That
Ripley
was-
anymore, you gotta use for sales, you know, baseball, softball. You can't use Ripley County because that's been used. It's like,
Yeah,
you know, it's just,
Yeah.
it's like really difficult, I think,
Yeah,
to,
that's where I think
a long-term
department.
vision of what you wanna do out there. If you're gonna invest a lot of money, I'm like, that would be a good person to like help, hey, I'm here for the Canes tournaments and I'm also, I don't know, just,
mhm,
and maybe like we do with the athletic director at school, it's like we have an event coordinator, whatever they call it. That's just like a side person that gets hired a stipend to basically help the AD out, right,
Mhm.
per season.
Yeah.
So even someone like that.
and that's what I'm
or-
thinking,
Yeah,
that we need a a seasonal parks director,
yeah,
but then we need somebody else that's gonna be able to help, be a right-hand man.
Yeah.
or a
Yeah, I think
right-hand
everything
woman.
goes to that one.
Because somebody's gonna have to get coordinated. I know out in Jennings County, Carl does all the concessions, and he's hinted to me, I don't know for sure, but, you know, he pays a pretty penny to North Vernon. And he runs the concessions, I mean, he buys all the supplies, he hires all his workers, and he does it. I don't know if we could find somebody, you know, that would do that. I think it must be pretty lucrative for him, because, you know, he should have retired a few years ago, and he's still at it, you know.
I mean, if we could find somebody like that, would be fantastic,
Okay,
because, like, with us just like on a whim throwing this board together
yeah,
and doing all the things we've done, it's been a lot.
I'm sure it
It's
has.
been a lot.
But I will tell you, I hope this makes you feel better, but you've done a fantastic job. We haven't heard any complaints, nothing, so
And we
pat
really
yourself on the
appreciate,
back.
we really appreciate that, like, we've had a
Yeah.
really good board, and that's the
Yeah.
only reason that, like, I felt
Well-
comfortable taking the reins on it, but.
Yeah, let me throw another idea out there.
if you have different
Ready?
people utilizing concessions too, like I don't know what Carl does if the rec league operates out of there, but like, then if the rec league's responsible for concessions during rec league times, then you bring in a bunch of tournaments, and then that's somebody not the rec league, well, then
Yeah.
we've got stuff in there, we
Yeah,
bought all that stuff,
Yeah,
so now
right.
you've got other people using it, and then what if our stuff gets used, like, you know,
Yeah.
like if you have a Parks and Recs person where you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to the volleyball team, you know, we can have this much in the Parks and Recs fund, and it's not like you're trying to raise money necessarily, it's like, hey, volleyball team, will you take these dates, and, you know, whatever, or hey, board members, can we take
but
these
that's,
dates?
but that's coming from the parks director though. I mean, that person would organize it and buy the supplies and all of that, and just find groups that'll come in and do it for, whatever. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
just say like, okay, like we did this year, you're in charge of concessions, right? I'm gonna order all the stuff, I'm gonna make sure it's there. Josh will have to go take his box trailer to Sam's Club to load it up with, you know, like that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make sure it's here, and then, hey, this person on the board, can you make sure that, I mean, I don't think that's a problem for any of us to like you said, it's not a work thing, it's just a, right, if you're talking about amping this thing up and putting money into it and having these tournaments, it's like having that person facilitate, you know, the rec side of it, and then also be there for the Canes and be super
So
helpful
let me
versus
ask you
just
this.
being there for
We're
tournaments.
both-
Yeah.
Let's say we end up next year with 12 tournaments total. We get 3 or 4 baseball, 4 or 5 baseball, and we get a few more than that softball maybe, okay? We'll just throw that number out there. Is the rec league still interested in running the concessions for those tournaments, or are you saying there's no way?
I mean, we need to do it for a moneymaker, so that if the Parks and
Yeah.
Recs person is there and there's a Parks and Recs fund and we have what we need, it's like, we don't necessarily, like, have to, I don't know, I think that depends on how many, but yeah, doing, 6 people doing 12 tournaments, when we all have our own stuff going on too,
I know.
is really difficult to do.
I know, and I don't wanna have to, what I'm thinking is, I don't wanna get into, I don't know.
But
You know, I don't think about
if
it.
it's someone's full-time, like, if that's someone's 3 days a week, it's not that hard to do. Like, you could go to the school and go to these coaches and say, hey, can you do this, can you do this tournament? Can you do
Yeah.
this tournament? This is what we made last year, you'll, you know, 60-40 split, here's what you're gonna get. You know, I mean, we made, Brittany just left, how much money off of the U-Trip concessions? $5,000. So if the basketball
And that
team,
was clear?
No, that wasn't clear.
no,
Oh, you brought that in.
we probably made
Right,
3,
500.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, that person could just, they're not having to, yeah, I mean, we could work together on it, it's not like a handoff,
Okay.
Parks and Recs. do
Okay,
everything,
so
but-
we need to think about that, how we can,
I honestly think best case scenario is like Red White North Vernon does. Find someone dedicated to running
have to go and buy all the supplies, and you just have to show up to work it, to make your profit for,
Yeah, and then you
you'd
can
work
work
one or
it.
2 or 3 tournaments
How
a
are
year,
they,
you'd be okay with that.
so, with that being said though, how well is it opened up to allowing fundraisers for other organizations to come in and help break girls volleyball team, softball team, this,
Well,
that? How does
we
that
used
take-
to do
Or does
that.
it become their only like, hey, this is my moneymaker, I'm doing it the way I want, this is the way it is, even though it goes to me, but I'm here for all the profit, that's it.
Well,
You know,
that's
does it
what
turn
Yeah,
into that?
that could happen.
That turns into where
Yeah.
people's like, I'm about the money, and I know it takes it away from some people, but I agree with what you're saying.
We
but I
might
know-
be able to
had-
put a clause, might be able to put a clause type thing in there, and it's above my head too, but like you have to hire like,
Rec.
like
Somebody from the
either for the rec league or like a school, like prom.
Or you don't have to say, you don't have to, you can just say, you have to offer to them, right?
Yeah, you do, because you can't force them to do it, and some of them won't do it. And we, you know, for the first several years I was on the board, the junior class did it. Tammy Halpern had it up, and they did it for
The main thing
several
is
years.
equipment, food, where
But-
you don't, it's like, well, what?
But the
somebody
person,
can
Rex
work
person
somebody
works
else's
for
pot.
the town, I think that's where we're like, where we've had issues in the past, is there's no accountability to anyone. That person is their own person, and they are gonna do what they want with it, and what is the town gonna say to them, because the town doesn't really have anything
Yeah,
to do with it.
that's right.
So it's like, but the Parks and Rec person works for the town,
Yeah.
so it's like,
So-
hey, Parks and Rec person, here's the understanding is that you get with your board members, see if, you know, how many things can get covered, which I don't think any of us would have problems, because most of us were there every night anyways, you know, or, and then say, okay, here's the dates we don't have filled, we gotta go seek after, go to your school first and see what we could, or like Brent Perry's team, the Canes team, they work some concessions, nobody has any problem with that, but it's very cut and dry, because it's all ran through Parks
I
and Rec,
think
like,
Parks and Rec, we can still have a board, you still
Yeah.
have one person that's an town employee.
yeah.
We could have a couple representatives from the rec, a couple representatives from the Canes, we
Yeah.
have a couple representatives from
Well,
everyone.
that brings me to the next thing.
Now it's just representatives in a sense of taking care of that.
So about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, Holly and I met with one of the gals over at the Southeastern Indiana Regional Planning. They write all of our big grants, you know, the millions of dollars in grants and all that, right? And it just so happens that DNR has they have a grant program that we could participate in. And it would be for a planning grant for our parks. And we only have 3 parks in town. We have this one in Pangburn and the complex. So we fall into a really nice, neat little category that way. And they would come and assess our parks and our needs and our interests and things like that. And then they would basically write out a plan, kind of like the comprehensive plan that the town just got done with. That would then, once we had that completed, that would make us eligible for grant money from DNR. Okay, not for the state park, for our 3 parks, which I'm gonna tell you, you can't find money. You have to get money from private sources like Rising Sun or the Tyson Fund or those kinds of things. REMC, you cannot get, there is no money. There really isn't. In the past, the money pretty much has gone to the state parks, but now they're actually going to allow money to go to communities, parks, and that kind of thing. But in order to do that, we have to have a park board. And we had a park board years ago, before I came on the board. And about the time I came on the board, the park board dissolved within a year, because couldn't anybody be on the park board. And so we are discussing, we brought it up the last meeting, and we're kind of trying to talk with you guys about that tonight, because we would like to establish a park board. You know, we would want somebody, we need somebody from the town, because somebody's got to be able to say, yeah, that will work, or no, that probably wouldn't work because of these reasons. So we think we need a town board member. We definitely need somebody from the rec league. We need somebody from the Canes. We need somebody from soccer. We were talking that we felt like we needed somebody who was a good community-minded person, but not directly involved with soccer or baseball. Okay? So somebody like that's in Lions Club that gets, you know, that's pretty involved with what's going on in the community to make the community better, but not gonna have, you know, not gonna have somebody involved in who else would I forget then, Josh? I think we figured 5 or 6. Oh, Rec League, Canes, soccer, community member, town council, and the Parks and Rec board. Or maybe even another one if we, if we ended up hiring, summer help. I'm thinking, we might, maybe we hire an employee and then we hire a high school kid that is like the, a responsible high school kid. We've had good high school kids that have helped in the past. They're very responsible and show up on time and do the things that need to be done. So what are your thoughts on that? One more thing, that's what you're thinking, I can read your mind, I know.
I'm thinking, I'll do it, I think we'd all do it if you have somebody to run the rec league program.
I think within the parks, within creating a board, I think then all concession money goes to that park board. All the money earned goes to that park board. So then now that park board then decides how much money is needed to go out to take care of uniforms for the rec league. They need this, they need that. So now all money's coming in out of just that one account and moving back.
Then that could be a problem.
But I'm saying if it's a board though, in a sense of,
Yeah, but that,
because
I'll
of that
talk to Sarah about that,
responsibility.
she's not called state board of accounts and find out,
Okay.
because that's, we got our hands slapped pretty hard there a few years ago for that. In fact, they limited our budget to about 15,000.
And that's fine, but at least we got a
So
board.
does it have to be the town's park board?
It would be the town's park board. I mean, I think it would be a park board that would oversee this park and Pangburn and the sports complex.
But it could be like a community, like you would say it's a community park board and you would give the name and it would be its own, entity,
Yeah,
but connected with the town, so it wouldn't really have anything to do with the state board of accounts.
if the money all flowed in and out of that, I'm not
Right.
sure we can do that. I don't know. That's probably, we need to think about that, talk about that, talk to Lynn and see what, and I need Sarah to call state board of accounts and find out there.
Only thing,
But
only
I
thing with
wanna-
that is my concern is like with the concessions money, right? Like if the rec league stays as is and we have a Parks and Recs person and the rec league is responsible for concessions and doing the things, we have to have that money to be able to run the rec league. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I'm with him, like I think a Parks and Recs board where the money flows in and out is a great idea, but if it has to be where it's still separated out, or now you've got the rec league over here and they're funding their own stuff, then we have to have the concessions money because that's the only way we make money.
Mhm.
And then that's how we buy things, you know what I mean? So it's like we have to, they would have to there'd be layers to that of I
Yeah.
think that's a great way to do it, but
I think first I'd be voting into whoever we wanted for the boards or however that works out with you guys. And then now we can start shooting ideas back and forth and then cause now we have representatives from each ones or however
Right,
many people.
right.
Now we start really getting into the weeds of things and then figuring things out with the layers and stuff like that to really put a lot of minds together and come up with something.
Our first thing, getting the board, established, then we can start looking into the money, since, how we put it towards the board,
Cause I'm all with, I wanna make it as simple as possible and as easy as possible, don't wanna put any undue stress on the rec board, cause I know I wouldn't want, I know they don't want it, I completely understand of just, then we can get away from, maybe it's like, can we get away from the leases, and can we get away from this, now it's like we're all together as one, where nobody has to worry about at least making X amount of money, or now we
paying
can
out
start
that amount.
paying out that
Yeah.
money, and then now it becomes to where we're all bringing in more for the town now, so
So
like I
it
said, the
might
money
be
doesn't sit in
that
there.
establish a parks department, is what I'm thinking. Town would probably need to establish a parks department, hire a parks director, and then that has its own budget. I just don't know how the financial part of bringing all that money in.
Since we're
is gonna
Sarah,
work.
Perry's gonna be here tonight, she said she didn't know if she'd get here, and I know.
Darn.
would that
Well-
be a Carl Mike question too?
Well, I tell you, I'm thinking about Dillsboro. There was a guy named, I want to say his first name was Jim Hughes over there at Dillsboro for years, and he ran their rec league. I just always heard such good things about him.
what Amy Davies runs it now, she's they're well, she, right?
Who runs it?
Amy Davies is her name.
What about, do you guys know Brad Voss
Brad, yes.
from Milan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Is he run there? Does he
well,
run
I
it?
think he helped get Milan's really rolling, from my understanding.
Okay.
Got back out of the sun, got to travel, well, he's gonna be it can be, anyways, I got contacts with him to help out with some things in some areas, stuff like that, so I think he's a good one also that's understands of behind the scenes what, you know, they did pretty well, and then, all right, now we're gonna see what ideas he has to,
Yeah, we need to talk to somebody that's actually established and
yeah,
and
'cause he's been,
how they run
Yeah.
it, and financially, how they deal with it.
Dillsboro's on board and everything too, and they're
Are they? Okay.
yeah.
And you say Amy Davies, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
Amy Davies.
Greg, I think you're
It's not-
thinking-
It's not Mike Davies' wife.
No.
Ben's mother.
I think you're thinking Greg Hughes, not Jim Hughes.
Who is it?
Greg Hughes?
Greg Hughes? Okay, could be, I can remember his first name. Does he run it for a long time?
He's on the Parks Board, so.
Let me get, I
Well,
got some contacts from Batesville too, let me reach out, see how they do theirs too. I deal with them when I was with the bats and stuff, got to know some people
Yeah,
over there. 'Cause
yeah.
you know, just get different ideas, maybe we get some different ideas
Yeah,
from different
I know, we need
communities.
to talk around and figure out how we do this. I don't know the first clue. I don't have the first clue.
Yeah. But I know Rollins did say when he came out that one day, talking about how things can roll through a parks department, makes things a little bit easier. And of course, he was just jibber jabbering all kinds of things, I couldn't keep up with him. But
Okay.
I think
Okay.
there's a lot of things that can.
Well, I think I think that that's something we can certainly look at. We've got a little bit of time, not a lot, but we've at least got a couple months to kind of sort things out. So, and it's already 10 minutes till 9, so let's see if we kind of wrap this up.
I have one other thing.
Yeah, sure.
Lights.
Hundreds of thousands of
I
dollars.
figure it gets expensive.
That's what we've been told. And I don't know.
It's something hopefully we can start budgeting for the future.
Next year.
No,
We can get the weeds real quick, but
Yeah,
It
no,
won't be next
we're
year,
gonna
but-
do that. Now, I've been told that, and I don't know if this is true, but it's certainly worth asking, that, you know, RMC may have extra poles or poles laying around. Now, I'm not sure they can, you know, where they can use them, if they can take them out there or anything. Or, I don't know how much it would cost, but, you know, it's gonna be expensive to take.
Right. My thoughts are, if we're having all these tournaments come through, I think one of your biggest things is like being able to play at any time.
Yeah,
Like
and
we can
I'll
play
agree with
from
that.
7 in the morning.
Right.
Play that early. But we can play till 9 o'clock at night.
Right, yeah, and I agree, but we've got to yeah, we're leaving tomorrow morning about 6:30 to go to Carson, take him to Westfield, so, yeah, that'll be a fun time. But I think we have to see the tournaments actually materialize.
Sure.
You know, we can get promises and all that. We had promises several years ago, and
It's-
2 tournaments later, it all fell
It's
apart.
realistically, what it boils down to is turf. They
Yeah.
want Turf,
Yeah,
that is
So
I'm not trying to sell it.
So I think-
That's another thing is like.
turf is
that's
probably more important than the lights,
Yeah,
should be done.
Okay.
they don't,
Yeah.
right now, it's what, or they're a business, they want money and they don't wanna have to cancel. Same time, I know Rick was worried about it, we had the rain that came through, they spent all that money on food. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
I know turf sounds fancy, it is awesome, but it's a business, they wanna be able to keep playing in the rain, we got to. It is straight up business.
We'll play.
Turf is definitely more important, in my opinion, than the lights, because they are gonna hold off on how many tournaments we can get, you know, especially
Yeah, they
in
will.
springtime, and they may get some more in fall, maybe, I don't know, or late summer. It's,
Yep, and we've talked about that, you know, we've talked about trying to budget maybe, you know, probably not next year, because we've got a lot of stuff we gotta do,
yeah,
you know, just because we haven't done it.
yeah.
We know that, so, I think, but maybe we can start budgeting in money for maybe one field, you know, maybe
Yeah.
every year, or,
And realistically, I think if the town and everybody knew the social economic impact numbers from that one tournament, I think that would help out, at least for business purposes. I know not
Yeah.
everyone's in the business, I get that, but I think it kind of opens up the town or the local businesses, like, oh wow, it did quite a bit for outside money coming in. So that way they don't start giving us the pointing finger in the what fors about, you know, this and that. It's like, no,
yeah.
everything's a
I
snowball
don't think
effect.
anybody's gonna give us any grief Yeah,
You always-
yeah.
You always got.
They will. But I do think, you know, that that's something we can look at, and again, that's something that, you know, we can investigate, see where we can come up with some money, you know. Doggone, Rose Foundation already spent $100,000 on their stuff at high school,
What's the
so.
thing I heard with the Canes, that if you guys had 12 teams, should we win our community, they would turf it?
There was no, he said he would help us work on it. We at least needed 15 to 20. Isaac and the Canes have a huge, they have a big voice, a really big one. And that's where he would go and talk with Cody. Rollins is kind of more so out of this point, it'd be more the state side, which is Cody, I can't remember his last name, pretty much saying, we want something here. But they're in business too, they want to see money, because they make registration fees off of us. Not a bunch, they did lower it, and they did donate 50 of it per player to the town. I would say donated, but they said, hey, we'll take some.
Redirected.
They redirected it.
Yeah,
So
right.
they, I mean, for themselves, so they took off $50 on their part
Mhm.
for us to help get established out here in town. And of course, we set up an agreement within our lease agreement with the town to send that to there. So I've been working to, you know, get the numbers. Even if, we don't even have to have them in here, as long as we got them underneath our umbrella. So we got 2 more softball teams under mine. Realistically, I could get 8. That's where I'm stuck at 8 right now. Cause I'm going off of Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm doing then, you know, so every Wednesday I got, you know, 8 teams practicing. Then I'm dealing with just like everybody else, daylight saving, you know, the time constraints of sunlight. So it's like, all right, we get an hour and 15 minutes, hour 15 minutes for each team. So I'm at 7 right now locally. Plus I got 2 more outside. Sounds like I should be able to get another one too. So we'd be at 8. And I told Brent and Emma and Dwyer's had another team or another 11U. I'm stuck. Now with batting cages, I go to 16. That's where I'm at, 'cause now I can start doubling up, I can start alternating. So I don't wanna make it sound selfish of the batting cages, but I do know that if it helps benefit kids get better practice, you know, more practice time, I know it does that with the rec league
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
gonna do the same thing
We
for them
double up.
on their nights,
Itself is
so.
just gonna help us all. So
It's
that's-
gonna help us all,
yeah.
so that's, yeah, I push the batting cages not to be fancy, it's just
Yeah, right.
more kids
I get it.
practice. I'd rather shag balls than batting cage than I would on the field.
No gosh. Who
Well,
wouldn't?
Northford just put in a really nice batting cage, and I'm pretty sure it's 4, at least 4 lanes, maybe even a 5th lane.
I heard there's over 80,000.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's super nice. It better
Super
be.
nice cars gonna be better, and we're gonna have it for cheaper. I'm telling you, I'm the,
This
and
is
I'm
a dumb
also,
question, but do you have to turf it?
do I have to? No.
Like, do we have to turf batting cages?
No, I was looking if there's gonna be a grant, I'll get a quote for it and go on from there.
Yeah.
Take a look at it, why not?
Yeah, no,
We
I'm
can
not
do-
disagreeing.
We
I'm just
can do
asking.
a brick dust inside and do crushed underneath and gravel.
Well, it's kind of interesting that you're asking about that turf, because when we were talking about this over here, I actually got on Facebook and started looking on Marketplace, you can buy
Yeah.
used turf.
Mhm.
And like, for batting cages, would it even matter?
No, the hard part is those rolls, cause a lot of them are, football field turf with all the rubber pellets.
Yeah.
It's super heavy.
Oh, I bet
They
it
are
is.
rolls. Yeah, I got skid steer. The problem is we can unroll it. How do you start shifting it around like you know
Yeah.
you would carpet when it's already
Which
that
already
heavy?
got that heavy.
It's good luck. I mean,
Well,
that's
when
the problem.
Martinsburg replaced their field, here about 3 years ago, when we were putting it in here, Ron Carnegie was gonna give us the turf.
Yeah.
But he said, you just don't know what you might get. You might get tigers right in the middle of it. I'm like, no,
I mean, we can get it.
No.
I think I figured
not
out.
this Aurora girl in doing that.
I think I figured out they wanted almost 2,000, which is a good deal for all the turf it take for those batting cages. But I found some for $1.39 a square foot, where it's like 6,000 something, but yet it's light, easy to work with and install.
Yeah,
The installation was the issue with the other stuff.
yeah.
Oh, it'd be a
Okay.
nightmare. to
Yeah,
figure
that
out.
would be a nightmare. Yeah.
So, but.
Okay, well, I think we've got a lot of, oh gosh. We have a lot of conversations, I think, to try to have with some people and figure out what we can and can't do. I'm gonna have to have Sarah, she's gonna have to call state board and find out, you know, how we can, surely there's a way, other towns are doing it, we just
Yeah.
don't know how to do it, we have to figure out how we can do it, that, we can, you know, bring that money in and send that money out without getting dinged and being slapped, so. But, first off,
And like, if we have to go around it, like, we can the nonprofit we have in place, like, we can keep the 501(c), have the Parks and Recs person just be listed on there as an officer, so then that's not like a revolving person, and if they ever quit, right, then it's like, there's a responsibility there of him to just pass it to the next person that would take that position, and that would keep the money, at least for the next year,
Okay.
to be, oh, we're gonna have it all in a Parks and Recs fund. It's like, okay, we have the rec league fund, right, and that could be, this guy's running it, or this person's running it, and he's, you know, an officer of that nonprofit, just to keep it clean for next year, if you're talking about kind of, cause I know that's a lot, that's, you know, just something short term, it's like, we can make that work.
Okay.
You're not having to worry about the funding part, cause I don't want, you know,
Yeah.
on that, but it might be a way
Yeah,
to still be able to have him.
we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
We'll get it figured out. Okay, so who's gotta get some quotes for me? I need to know, I've got catcher's equipment down at 6,000, but I need to know coaching bags. I'll talk about that. Nail drag, backstop padding. Can somebody check on that?
Yeah.
I don't know what, you know, I mean, I don't know what kind of, you know, that fencing's already been up.
You can
so-
get them with logos on, you get them with everything, or just, I was gonna
We'll
put
just-
standard black collar, cause it's a go to
Yeah, let's
everything,
just
no matter
do-
what, and
Yeah,
just keep
we
it
can talk
simple.
about logos later.
Town of ourselves.
You know, the brick dust and stuff for the warning tracks on all 4 fields, need to know what that's gonna cost us. A temporary fence,
Yeah.
and I need to know what that clay sand mix is gonna cost, and those things are
I still
probably
got
most
details
of
on
what we
that,
need in
so.
the budget to figure out. So we've got about a good month to get that stuff together.
The warning track that you wanna do is brick dust, it'll probably take every bit of that power right there,
To what
close
is-
to it. If you do the warning track, I guarantee by the time you go to the perimeter,
Yeah.
it's going to take some.
Is that one field, or are you talking we can do?
All 4.
You think we can do all
I
4
think-
with that?
If I do, between the 2 and 4, I guess off one field, start with the biggest field and we'll see how far that goes, I guess.
Yeah.
Or the worst field of which ones have the most exposed concrete, do that one first.
Yeah, let's do that, let's do that little field first.
So,
Okay.
safety net,
Wow.
hold, I guess.
Anything else?
Yeah, we got it.
No more else.
It's not,
No,
well, it's
no.
called a night, yeah, during
Yeah.
the meeting.
Yeah.
You can, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Aye. We're out. Okay. Well, thank you all for your, I think. But I think, no, seriously, thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing your concerns. And you know, we'll work on this, and I'll try to keep you posted. We'll probably try to have another meeting here in a month or 2, once we get, you know, we'll get this stuff together, so we've got our budget stuff going, and then the other thing, a couple things I think I need maybe for the grant.